If you're over 60 and still masturbating the way you did in your 20s, you might be unknowingly causing serious damage to your penis. I've had men come into my office confident in their habits, only to break down when they learn those same routines are behind their weaker erections, reduced sensation, and lost confidence. What once seemed harmless has actually been causing lasting harm. I'm Dr. Mohit Kara, a men's health specialist and urologist with over 30 years of experience. I've treated thousands of men, helping them reclaim their sexual health, dignity, and peace of mind. I'm sharing this with you because I don't want you to become another preventable story knot when there's still time to take control. You've probably heard that masturbation is natural, healthy, and safe, and for most people, it is. But once you hit 60, your body changes. Your blood vessels, skin, nerves, and prostate don't react like they used to. What once felt pleasurable could now be risking your health. Here's the good news. By understanding the 5 most common masturbation mistakes men over 60 make, you can begin to repair the damage, boost circulation, restore sensation, and reconnect with your body in a more fulfilling way. And surprisingly, almost every senior man I see makes the very first mistake. Before we dive in, if you're serious about protecting your sexual health as you age, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss vital tips that could save your function, your confidence, and your future. If this message resonates, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your feedback helps me tailor content that truly matters. Mistake 1. The death grip dilemma. Now that you understand why this is so important, let's explore the first and perhaps most harmful mistake older men often make when masturbating. I see it almost every week in my clinic, and most men have no idea they're doing it. This habit quietly numbs their sensitivity, restricts blood flow, and over time, damages their ability to enjoy real intimacy. Let's talk about the death grip. I can't count how many men have come to me feeling frustrated, confused, and embarrassed because they no longer experience the same pleasure. They say their erections aren't as strong, climaxes feel dull, and something's missing. And when I ask them exactly how they stimulate themselves, nearly every answer reveals the same dangerous habit, what we call the death grip. The term might sound dramatic, but it really fits. The death grip refers to using too much pressure when masturbating, gripping too tightly, too fast, and with too much force. It's a habit many men develop over time, especially if they're rushing to finish. But here's the catch. After 60, your penis can't take that kind of force like it used to. The skin thins out, blood vessels become more delicate, and the tiny nerves that give you sensation become vulnerable to damage. With every tight squeeze, you could be cutting off blood flow, causing tiny tears, and harming the nerve pathways that control pleasure and erections. Some men eventually come to me with lasting loss of sensitivity, others with shrinkage due to internal scarring, and some even develop Peyronie's disease, a painful curvature caused by repeated trauma. The worst part? Most have no idea they're harming themselves. I'm not sharing this to frighten you, but to help you wake up. If you're still using the same grip and technique you had decades ago, it's time to change. Your body isn't the same anymore. What once felt normal can now be harmful. You owe it to yourself to be gentler, treat your body like it matters, because it does. Every stroke counts now. Use plenty of lubrication. Ease your grip, slow down your pace, and pay attention to what your body is telling you. This is how you protect sensation, improve blood flow, and rediscover pleasure, not by forcing it, but by respecting it. Now, while this is one of the most damaging physical mistakes, the next one goes even deeper literally. Mistake number 2 isn't just about your skin or grip, it's about your prostate, and it can cause lasting discomfort many men never anticipate. Let's dive into that. If you're still with me and this resonates, drop a 1 in the comments so I know you're ready to take charge of your health. Mistake 2, masturbating without lubrication. Moving on, let's talk about the second mistake you really need to avoid. I recall one patient in particular, a 72-year-old retiree who was still sexually active on his own, something I always encourage. But he came to me complaining of irritation, discomfort, and a deep concern that something was seriously wrong with his penis. After some questions, I found the issue. He'd been masturbating dry for decades. No lubricant, no barrier, just skin rubbing against skin. And after years of that, his body finally said enough. Masturbating without lubrication might seem harmless, especially if it's what you've always done. But let me be clear, after 60, this is one of the easiest ways to unknowingly damage your penis. Your skin isn't what it used to be. It's thinner, more fragile, and slower to heal. Each dry stroke creates small amounts of friction that add up over time, leading to irritation, tiny abrasions, and eventually scarring. Some men notice their shaft becoming rougher, less sensitive, or even tighter than before. That's not just aging that's damaged. Repeated friction without proper lubrication can gradually wear down your skin's natural defenses, reduce its elasticity, and cause inflammation in the tissue. Once inflamed, the penis becomes more vulnerable to injury, and in some cases, hardened patches can form beneath the surface, permanently altering the texture and flexibility. This isn't just about comfort, it's about protecting your ability to feel pleasure and preventing painful complications down the road. The truth is, there's simply no excuse to skip lubrication. Whether you prefer water-based or silicone, the right lubricant reduces friction, shields your skin, and promotes better blood flow, something that becomes increasingly important as circulation naturally declines with age. If you haven't made lubrication part of your routine yet, I strongly encourage you to start every time, not just occasionally. Making this small change can safeguard your penis for years to come. It's about respecting your body, because once damage occurs, it can be difficult to reverse. Now, while skin irritation and sensitivity loss are troubling enough, the next mistake goes even deeper, affecting your internal health, including your prostate, urinary system, and hormonal balance. This is where things get serious. Let's discuss the dangers of ignoring what your body is telling you, especially after climax. Mistake 3. Ignoring prostate feedback. One of the most overlooked health risks I encounter in older men isn't visible on the outside, it's what's happening internally, particularly in the prostate. Unfortunately, many men don't recognize the warning signs until discomfort becomes persistent and difficult to ignore. Ignoring your prostate's signals, especially during and after masturbation, is a mistake that can silently harm your sexual function, cause discomfort, and degrade your quality of life. I've seen men in their late 60s and 70s report a dull ache in their pelvic area, or an unusual pressure behind the scrotum following climax. Some describe a burning sensation in the urethra, while others feel they can't fully empty their bladder. These are not just random aches caused by aging. They are signs of an irritated, overworked, or inflamed prostate. Often, this condition is linked to excessive frequency or forcefulness during masturbation, without adequate rest for the body to recover. The prostate, though small, plays a critical role in your sexual health. It produces seminal fluid and is connected to nerves and blood vessels vital for erections. As you age, the prostate becomes more sensitive and prone to swelling, especially if masturbation is too frequent, rushed, or ignored. In terms of how your body feels, what many men don't realize is that repeated ejaculation without sufficient recovery time can lead to prostate congestion. Over time, this may develop into chronic inflammation known as prostatitis. It's uncomfortable, it disrupts your ability to enjoy climax, and can even cause urinary problems and weaken erections. And this is not something that medication alone can simply fix. That's why I always tell my older patients that masturbation isn't a race, it's a conversation with your body. If your body is signaling you to slow down, to rest, or to make a change, listen carefully. Pain, pressure, or discomfort after climax isn't just a sign of aging. It's your body sending a warning. So far, we've focused on physical habits, your grip, the use of lubrication, and how well you pay attention to your body's feedback. But what if the biggest challenge isn't physical at all, but neurological? What if the content you consume is rewiring your brain, dulling your arousal, and breaking your connection with genuine intimacy? Let's explore what's happening in your mind. If you're still with me and these ideas resonate, type 1 in the comments so I know you're paying attention and ready to take control. Mistake 4. Watching high-stimulation porn. too often. Moving on to the fourth mistake, a deeper issue that goes beyond your body and targets your brain. Over the years, I've spoken with many older men who say, "Doc, I don't get it. Everything seems to work fine when I'm alone. But the moment I'm with a real partner, nothing happens." More often than not, the cause isn't physical. It's neurological. It's linked to prolonged exposure to high-stimulation pornography. To be clear, this isn't about shame or judgment. I'm not here to police what you watch. Instead, I want to explain how constant exposure to fast-paced, high-intensity sexual images can change the way the male brain experiences pleasure, especially after 60. Your brain is remarkably adaptable and learns patterns quickly. When it's fed a non-stop stream of novelty, speed, and exaggerated sexual content, it starts rewiring itself. This means your brain may respond more to the screen than to real touch, genuine connection, or even actual people. It's not that you've lost interest in intimacy, it's that your brain's reward system has been hijacked. The longer this goes on, the harder it becomes to feel aroused without it. Even worse, this rewiring impacts blood flow, erection quality, and the release of key neurochemicals like dopamine and oxytocin chemicals essential for intimacy, bonding, and satisfaction. I've seen men who once had robust sex drives become dependent on digital stimulation just to feel anything. It's heartbreaking. But the good news is, with time and the right habits, this can often be reversed if it's recognized early. If you watch porn frequently and notice that real-life intimacy feels dull, distant, or stressful, that's a clear sign. Your brain is signaling that it needs a reset. Take breaks. Cut back on screen time. Try masturbating without any visual stimulation and reconnect with your body's sensations, your breath, and your presence. Train yourself to experience grounded, genuine pleasure again. This won't happen overnight, but it can restore a level of fulfillment no screen can ever replace. And while rewiring the brain is critical, the final mistake I want to discuss might be the most subtle of all. It's not about what you're doing wrong physically or mentally. It's about how you think about masturbation itself. Let's talk about this next important point. Mistake 5. Not treating masturbation as a health practice. Out of all the mistakes I see, this one might be the most misunderstood because, on the surface, it doesn't seem like a mistake at all. But for men over 60, masturbation isn't just about pleasure anymore, it's about health. When it becomes something rushed, automatic, or purely mechanical, treated as an afterthought, you're risking far more than you realize. Many of my older patients admit they masturbate just to fall asleep, relieve stress, or simply out of habit. There's no intention, no connection, no real awareness of what their body is feeling or doing. Over time, this casual, disconnected approach doesn't just dull sensitivity, it breaks down your relationship with your own body. You stop listening. You stop noticing early signs of strain, inflammation, or subtle changes. You lose the natural rhythm that keeps blood flowing, nerves healthy, and sexual energy alive. Your penis, like every other part of your body, responds best when treated with care. When you slow down, breathe deeply, and turn masturbation into an experience rather than a chore, you create space for healing and connection. Masturbation can and should be a time of relaxation, connection, and even restoration, but only if you see it that way. Treating it casually isn't just a physical risk, it's an emotional one too. It can leave you feeling numb, disconnected, or dissatisfied. It can push you toward harsher stimulation or more frequent sessions just to feel something. And over time, this can lead to erectile fatigue, loss of pleasure, and even performance anxiety when you're with a partner. Making masturbation a mindful, intentional part of your health routine puts you in control. You become more in tune with your body's signals, better aware of what feels good and what doesn't. You reduce your risk of harm and amplify the pleasure whether you're alone or with someone else. If masturbation has become an old habit you barely think about, it's time to rethink. How you relate to your body now will determine how well it serves you in the years ahead. And that brings me to something every man over 60 needs to hear. Everything we've talked about so far boils down to one simple but powerful truth. Caring for your sexual health isn't just about sex, it's about your future. Let me explain why. Conclusion: the truth about sexual health. After 60, if you've made it this far, I want to share something from the heart. As a physician devoted to men's sexual health, I'm not here to frighten you. I'm here to help you reclaim control. Over the years, I've sat with countless men just like you, husbands, veterans, grandfathers, men who've worked hard their entire lives, supported their families, and now simply want to feel whole again. They come to me not only because something hurts or isn't functioning properly, but because no one ever told them the truth. No one warned them what happens when you keep doing the same things even as your body changes. Today, we've talked about 5 common masturbation mistakes. 5 habits that might seem harmless, but quietly rob you of what makes you feel alive, confident, and connected. The death grip, where too much pressure dulls sensitivity and disrupts circulation. Masturbating without lubrication, which damages delicate skin and speeds up tissue breakdown. Ignoring prostate signals, turning small discomforts into chronic inflammation. Overconsumption of high-stimulation porn, rewiring your brain and dulling real intimacy. And treating masturbation like a chore instead of a health practice, disconnecting you from your body and dulling your natural rhythm and pleasure. These aren't just clinical facts. I've witnessed the pain behind them. I've seen the regret in the eyes of men who didn't know better until it was too late. But I've also seen the transformation when men take actions softening their grip, using lubrication, paying attention to their prostate, retraining their minds, and approaching self-pleasure with respect rather than habit. Men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s rediscovering a part of themselves they thought was lost. I've seen their confidence grow, their intimacy deepen, and their relationships thrive. So, if any of this sounds familiar, take a deep breath. You're not broken. You're not too late. You simply haven't had the right information until now. Starting today, you can choose to be more mindful, more aware, and more connected to your sexual health. By doing so, you're not just protecting your body, you're protecting your joy, your connection, and your dignity. Your sexuality doesn't end at 60, it evolves. And the men who evolve with it, who adapt, learn, and take ownership, are the ones who continue to thrive. Ask yourself, what kind of man do you want to be in this next chapter? You still have time. You still have power. Now that you have this knowledge, you can take it back. If this video helped clarify things or gave you something to think about, please take a moment to like, share, and leave a comment below. I truly want to hear from you. If you'd like to support the work I do and help more men access this vital information, consider making a small donation. Every contribution helps me keep sharing this message with those who need it most.